Good morning, everybody. Okay, here is a reaction video to Brad Polumbo. Check him out on YouTube. Show him the love. You might have caught his podcast, Brad versus Everything. Check that out as well. And give him the like, give him the follow, because he always brings us the best clip stuff ever. So shout out to Brad Polumbo. And we're going to be reacting to Jasmine Crockett today. And the crazy, wow, jazzy. That's all I can say. Let's go to the video, shall we?
To hold Jasmine accountable, but at least, this is more than you would have seen if this interview was happening on MSNBC. I'll say that at least. And I'll give Dana some credit for sure.
Calling out. I think that my responsibility is to be transparent and to be honest. And the reality is that we are living in a time in which this administration and this regime is not interested in making sure that people understand history. We need to understand why they are so problematic. And so I am using that language because it is accurate language when we see the consolidation.
Oh my God.
First of all, no, you're not. It is not accurate language. You have no clue what you are talking about. Touch grass.
Calling Trump literally Hitler and calling him the enemy of the country. She just says, no, I don't apologize. I stand on business, and it's just accurate.
I'm sure. Sweetie, I'm going to give this to you, okay? If Trump, and this, I want everybody to pay attention, because I don't agree with everything our president says or does. Believe me, I don't. But I'll tell you what, if he was Hitler, this would not be occurring right now. She would not be speaking right now. If Trump were Hitler, she wouldn't be talking, because there would be no allowance for that. There'd be no freedom to do that. That's what I love about people. They're saying how Trump is comparable to the most vile man in history. In history. The most vile men in history. You are comparing the President of the United States to that, okay? Think about that. While you're doing that, you're generally driving around in your nice hot car with your $1,500 iPhone in your pocket. Do you really think that during World War II Germany, they were able to talk against Hitler? Just saying. Get back to the video.
I missed the part where Trump is putting millions of people into death camps. And I have so
Which he's not.
many criticisms of him. We criticize him regularly on this channel. This is not a MAGA Stan account, right? But the idea that he is in any way comparable to Hitler is so obscene and so ridiculous, when millions and millions of Jews and other people as well were killed by Hitler, this evil madman, perhaps the most villainous
I think he's the most vile man in history.
person in all of human history, and you're invoking it to Trump, and then you're making those invocations about Trump in a context where people have repeatedly tried to kill him, and then you're saying, okay, well, it's just accurate. It's not accurate.
This is exactly what the problem with the country is. People like her who want to cause division and hate.
And it is remarkably hyperbolic and reckless. It only turns up the temperature of the political discourse. It's remarkably unoriginal. Like, how many times have we heard the Hitler line be used casually by liberals in America?
To this point, we don't even listen anymore. That's the point, is people do not even hear that anymore. When you say it, you want to know the natural reaction to Trump as Hitler is, here we go again. That's the first response you get from anybody if you say that.
It's really, really old, and people just roll their eyes and tune you out. So it's not even
See?
effective rhetoric at this point. But it's not just accurate, and MAGA's mad about you, like, dropping facts about history. You sound utterly delulu, though of course it's Jasmine Crockett, so not surprising. But then, the other piece of this is that it doesn't make sense to say,
Okay, so I'm going to skip past the rest of that because that's just his commentary. Not that I don't like his commentary, because I do. But I want to get back to the
I don't think
video.
Trump is remotely comparable to Hitler. My many criticisms of him.
I want to get back to
If
the
I
video.
truly believed he was,
So hold on one.
I mean,
Sorry about that. I had to pause because I had to get to the next part of the video. But the one thing I want to say about this is he's absolutely correct. When you overplay your hand and use the same Delulu rhetoric that people have been using for the longest time now, it loses its effectiveness. First of all, because people know when they're being gaslit. Secondly, the fact that anyone would consider the most vile of humans comparable to Trump. So you're saying that the people who voted for Trump doesn't have the sense God gave cabbage? Because why I wouldn't vote for Hitler. I'm just saying. And I voted for Trump. And I would never, ever vote for a vile, evil man like that. And how about the Democratic Party? Instead of telling us how Trump is Hitler, how about you take your time and energy and effort and actually put up a viable candidate?
Validation of power. When we see them trying to chill speech of jokesters, when we're seeing all of this, that is a playbook out of Hitler, and I want to.
And again, she's going back to Jimmy Kimmel. Do you understand that Trump had nothing to do with that? That was an internal decision between ABC and Disney. And what happened? Oh, Disney only suspended him. He's going back on the air as of last night. Will Jasmine Crockett that now come out and say I was wrong about that? No, of course not.
Like these.
oh my God. Look, I've been very critical of the Trump administration's attacks on free speech, is how I see it. Like, ABC to take Jimmy Kimmel off the air. I view that as a violation of free speech, an attack on the First Amendment, all that. Compare it to Hitler is so absurd. I mean, all across America, there are still countless venues and opportunities that literally anyone can go and bash Trump however much they want and face absolutely no reprisal. The idea that in the narrow circumstance of publicly owned airwaves, they may exert government pressure to punish certain voices or for bad takes they don't like is a problem, but like taking it to Hitler is just absurd, and it's 1,000 steps too far. Again, but not surprising coming from her. Ugh.
These are the facts. But one of the things that I've never done that the president has done consistently is called specifically for violence. He has said,
You lie. Because right now, when you're calling the president of the United States Hitler, and when you're making it sound like he's a threat to the country, that is hateful, violent rhetoric. It can lead to bad things. Because there are people out in the world that are crazy. That's the point, Miss Crockett, that everybody in the world can hear and listen to those words. And when you say it with conviction, with your full chest, like you are saying, then people believe it. And then when they believe that rhetoric, they get nasty. And I don't mean nasty, I mean the other word that I can't say on YouTube.
oh, beat that one up. He has said those types.
That was not from... I've seen so many Democratic leaders talking about it's a war, talking about we need to take the fight to the streets. These are coming from Democratic leaders, not Trump. A comment was made about somebody punching someone in the face. That came from a Democratic leader, not from Trump. She's fibbing through her teeth. And Dana Bash is just standing there going, because she doesn't like Trump. The point is we do not talk this way about the President of the United States, whether you like him or don't like him. The fact look at it this way. What about the MAGA thing? That is bad. People are always bashing the MAGA movement. You don't like America? Because MAGA stands for Make America Great Again. And we can't do it with people like her being like that. She needs Jesus.
The things we know that
God bless her soul.
things about who should live
God
and
bless
who
her
should
little
die.
heart.
I've never said those kinds of things. And I think that those
You have never said those kind of you lie. You fibber. Bless your heart, but you are fibbing through your teeth because I've seen so many hot takes of you coming off the cuff with things like that. So don't say you never say those kind of things because that's certainly not true. You just basically fibbed on national television because it's not true. You have said those kind of things and continuously say those kind of things. The rhetoric itself that leads to this, it needs to all chill out on both ends. Everybody needs to stop and realize that we're all in this together.
things are the ones that are really, really dangerous. And even still, some of that will still be protected. We know that we still have laws that are on the book that certain speech is not protected, that it does cross over when you are inciting violence, such as what we saw on January 6th.
Oh my gosh. I condemned the January 6th riot at the time. I totally disagree with Trump's decision to pardon people who violently attacked police officers. All of those caveats out of the way. I mean, it just sucks that she's like, on the day of Charlie Kirk's memorial, she has to victim blame him and say, well, he talked about life and death. He used alarms. He was just murdered in a terror attack on American democracy and free speech. Save your hot take.
I can tell you right now, the love and grace that Erica Kirk showed the night she forgave her husband's, the guy who did this. She has more love and grace in her little pinky than you do throughout your whole body coursing. Because that's what I'm talking about. It's not about right versus left. It's about good versus evil. When you have love and grace in your heart, you won't talk like this. When you have love and grace in your heart and you have Jesus in your soul, you won't act like this. We all need Jesus now more than ever because stuff getting crazy out there. It really is.
Save him. Like, could you just not do it on the day of his memorial, maybe? Just have a little bit of class? I don't know.
Yeah, by the way, this happened the day of the memorial. She victim blamed him on the day of his memorial. Charlie Kirk was a good man. I've watched pretty much every single take he took on that he has on YouTube. He was a good man who went to the enemy's camp, so to speak, sat down and talked. He could bring anybody to the table and he would talk. He was never disrespectful. He never swore. Everything he said and did came directly from his faith, to my knowledge, which means came from God and his belief in God and his belief in the scriptures. When Erica Kirk forgave the man that did what he did to her husband and ripped her world apart, she quoted when Jesus said on the cross, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." And she said, "I forgive you because Jesus forgives you. I forgive you because Jesus forgave us." And on that right there is what it's about. Not this.
even if somebody very far to the left, who I totally despised, was killed,
Yeah.
I would not, on the day of their memorial, feel the need to specifically trash them. Like, we're just built different, I guess. I don't know.
When you are doing what we consider to be a terroristic threat of some sort, where it's a matter of, I'm not just saying it, but I have the apparent ability to carry that out. But me laying out historical facts, just like they don't want to talk about the fact that slavery was real in this country.
Oh my God.
Okay, first and foremost, we all know that slavery was a real thing.
Gosh, more like insane nonsense. Nobody says slavery isn't real in America.
Yeah.
In American history.
She needs
And
to
she
touch
can't
grass.
just keep framing, calling her political opponents literally.
Just because we don't think that people should be given retribution, what do you call that? Retributions or whatever it's called, where they get paid because of what happened. Just because we don't think you should be doing that doesn't mean we don't think slavery existed or that it was inherently evil.
Hitler as facts. That is not what a fact is. Like, that is a highly disputed, opinionated characterization. That's just not what the word fact means. I'm going to just crash out here if we keep going, but I will, for your viewing pleasure.
And that my people were enslaved and dragged and raped and abused, and they don't want to account for any of that. They don't believe in reparations. No.
Reparations, that's the word, reparations. Okay, first and foremost, the Holocaust. Do you hear million people coming out and do you hear them demanding reparations? And that's just one group. There are many groups out there who have been disenfranchised, I guess. I don't know how to say it, have held back or whatever. Evil things happen by evil people. Just because we don't think people should get paid for something that happened many years ago, doesn't mean we don't think it was an evil thing, or that we think that, or whatever she said.
I think it is okay for me to understand history and
Hold up. So now we're bad if we don't believe in reparations because some terrible things happen to people
Yeah,
she
that.
never met.
That.
And we're done by people who we never met but look like us or something. So if we don't believe in race-based guilt and punishment based on ancestral guilt, we're bad and don't care about slavery. Like, that is so insane. By the way, like, a huge swath of America opposed the idea of going back and doing reparations for slavery hundreds and hundreds of years later.
I'm one of those. Why should you be paid for something that happened literally so long ago? And I'm not saying I agree with anything that happened back then, because it was evil. It was evil inherent. They were evil people doing evil things, and no one should ever have to go through what they went through, what those people went through. My family is from, there was nobody in my family that was from the South. That's what I'm saying, is not everybody acts like, I can't even put into words how inherently crazy that is to me.
Later.
That's why I'm letting him say it, because he says it so much more eloquently and better than I do.
Paying off and rewarding people for things that never happened to them, happened to their great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother or whatever, and then punishing other people. Also, there's so many questions about reparations that just totally fall apart. Like, what about mixed race people? What about people whose ancestors immigrated here after slavery? It's like, the whole thing is an insane idea, but she's just casually throwing it out as if it's absurd anyone could not believe that. She's so out of touch.
That's what I meant to say. His exact
Absolutely
words.
remarkable.
And she is out of touch.
In a very clear way about why we should feel as if there is a concern. And when we swear an oath, which is what that first clip was, we swear an oath to the Constitution to protect against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And so if there is someone that is evidencing themselves, such as the president, who is going out and says, yes, I will take a $400 million plane from a foreign government, or is engaged in receiving crypto that we cannot track in exchange for, say, giving away chips to some.
Okay. Look, I think the Trump crypto stuff is incredibly sketchy and sus, and I do not support it at all. But she's literally suggesting that because he has a crypto coin and is making money off of it while he's president, I agree that's bad, honestly, but like, that makes him an enemy to the United States of America.
Yeah. Comments like that is not toning down the rhetoric. Comments like that cause crazy people, like the 22-year-old man that's currently in custody, and many others who are crazy, do crazy things. This is insane to me. Like, stop talking like this. You need Jesus. I will pray for you, Miss Crockett.
In direct contravention of his oath to the Constitution. So she's saying that makes him a traitor. Like, no, it doesn't. That is extremely, extremely hyperbolic. He can be kind of shady.
Technically, you talking the way you do about the President of the United States of America, the Commander-in-Chief, the person that the people voted in, makes you a traitor. So I would tread lightly, because we voted for him. We, the people, put him in that office for two very important reasons. One, because we knew he could do the job. And two, there was nobody better. You guys don't even have people who could put a sentence together without it sounding stupid. And then you have people on your team like this young lady who literally, continuously calls the President of the United States the Commander-in-Chief of our armed forces, compares him to the most villainous of men in world history.
And corrupt, and also not literally be a traitor. It just, again, why does everything have to be at 100 out of 100 with her all the time? Always. And then she'll say, oh, but of course I don't want anything bad to happen. I don't know. You can only ratchet up the rhetoric so much and then act shocked when people take the seriousness of your words seriously. I don't know.
To Saudi Arabia, no, we absolutely need to understand how these things could cause us harm, or when he's cozying up to somebody like Vladimir Putin. It's not only a problem for us, but it's a problem for our allies. When you have somebody like Poland that is like, yeah, this is what Russia's up to, and the president is like, oh, that may have just been a mistake. We need to understand what all those different feelings are.
Do you understand what he has to do? You can't just accuse people of stuff. Foreign policy is very tricky, I'm sure. And I wouldn't trust you to do any foreign policy, that's for sure. Just because he is trying to talk Putin to the table doesn't mean he's cozying up to Putin. He's trying to make a deal so it doesn't end up being a WW3 situation. That's his job, is to protect us and to keep us out of wars. Putin is bound and determined to do that. So Trump is doing what he can to bring him to the table. That's what his job tells him. That's what we wanted him to do. It makes no sense.
Because that has the potential of putting us in harm's way.
Why does she have to just do this, like, Mad Libs of political issues? Just throw them all out. And, like, as if they're all relevant to the question of whether she should stop saying Trump is literally Hitler. It actually, I think, NATO strategy discussions involving Russian aggression towards Poland are not really relevant to anything the host asked you about. She's just All she has is buzzwords and babbling. Seriously, that's it.
Yeah.
I find her to be the worst representative of the Democratic Party
Please do not ever let her run for president.
these days. But they love her. They keep putting her out as this star. The media adores her. I don't understand why, because
The media does not. No. See, I got to correct there, I think. Because I don't think the media adores her. What I think is that she brings the rhetoric. She checks that box, the rhetoric box.
really think
That's what
this
I
person
think.
is probably radioactive to 80% of Americans politically. She only appeals to like
A very
solidly
small.
progressive, affluent, well-educated, woke white people. Like that's her demo. I think most Americans probably would find her political brand, her rhetoric, her identity, weaponization, and obsession exhausting and annoying, not compelling as some new light and leader for the Democratic Party. But that's just my take. And just to kind of wrap up,
And that's my take as well. And again, check him out. Shout out to Brad Polumbo on YouTube. Check him out. Show him the love. Give him the like. And while you're at it, you can check that like right here and show me the love. I would really appreciate it. And it also helps that this gets out there because we cannot have people like Jasmine Crockett and AOC and others like them running around with more rhetoric. Don't you guys think that it's time for everybody to chill out? Don't you think it's time for all of us to remember that we're all in this together? Isn't it time for the nonsense? Life is we are on this planet for a very short time. A blip, and it's over. Just a moment. A moment, and it's done. And that's what I'm saying. We're only here for for a minute moment. Can't we just get along? Somebody famous once said that. Who was it? Oh, yes. Martin Luther King. Can't we all just get along? I think that was him. I believe. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. But I believe that was him who said that. Now, everybody, and what she said about slavery, everybody agrees that that was evil. That was bad. But that doesn't mean we think that people should be given money for something that happened many, 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 many years ago to people that none of us knew. It's that would be like me asking the government to pay me for something that happened to my great 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 grandfather. Well, I didn't think that was right. They took his land, so I should be given all of this land for free because they took his land back in 1801. I don't know. I'm making a story up. I don't know. But the point is you get my meaning. Just because you might not agree with that doesn't mean you automatically think that it was okay or that you are. I just don't understand people who think that way logically. Hold on, please. Anyway, guys, I just had company show up, so I got to go. But I will catch you guys on the flip and all of that. But remember, be kind to one another. Live by the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated because life is really too short for all this nonsense. And my personal message to Jasmine Crockett, AOC, and other Democratic leaders like that. Let's bring down the temperature. Because if you don't understand that the words you say, especially since people look at you as a leader, the words you're saying do have effects. I would ask that you pray about it before you speak, especially on your platform where millions of people can possibly see your rhetoric. hurtful rhetoric.
Video.
And again, it has nothing to do with right versus left. It has to do with good versus evil. God versus bad. And you know what bad I'm talking about, the Antichrist, Satan. I mean, the point is that we don't, I mean, the fact that she did it, number one, is not surprising. The fact that she did it on the day of the memorial, still not surprising. But I will tell you this. When you see something like this and you hear something like this, pray about it. Ask God to fill her heart with love and peace. Because that's what this world needs. Now more than ever is love and peace. All right, guys, I will catch you later. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace, love, and happiness. And to the Democratic Party, please get somebody viable as a candidate. Don't keep putting up people who have no viability as a candidate, and then you might win a race. But right now, I don't think you're going to be doing that anytime soon, especially with the hurtful rhetoric about Charlie Kirk, because that man was a good man. He was a Christian. He was a father. He was a husband. He was a friend to many and all. And the only thing that you, the only thing you should be saying is my condolences, and leave it at that. Or this type of behavior is never okay, and leave it at that. God bless Erica Kirk and her family. My heartfelt sympathies and love to you all. Anyway, so I will catch you guys later. And yeah, that's about it.